everybody! So for this video, I thought it would be really fun to do an antiques haul because apparently I have a problem and I'm addicted to antiquing because I have gone a lot just in the past 2 weeks. So again, it's another case of I really like to watch these videos, so I think it's only fair that I put one out into the world. So if you want to see what I got, and I'm going to list the places where I got them, then go ahead and keep on watching. So my boyfriend and I happened to be passing through Lake City, Florida, and Webb's Antique Market was on our list, and this place is huge. At first I thought we were only going to spend about an hour in there, and then we were going to go up a little bit further north to another antique market. We spent 4.5 hours there. It is enormous, and I don't think we saw everything there. So if you're planning on heading out there, make sure it is going to be an all-day thing. Just be prepared. So the first thing I picked up when we were there is this really fun little bear jar, and he's full of buttons. So I love collecting old buttons. I think it's, I don't know, I just think it's really neat. I do use a lot of vintage buttons when I am sewing. I like having a wide variety of vintage buttons to choose from. I need to go through all of these and sort them out, which I will do eventually, and then I will be left with this super cute little glass bear jar, and he's just really cute. The next thing we got was this beautiful cut crystal butter dish. I did not grow up in a butter dish household, but my boyfriend did, and he really wants his own butter dish. So I think we paid like $9-ish for this, but it's really pretty. I haven't had a chance to wash all of our dishes yet. I'm going to do that all in one sitting, probably within the next day or two. But yeah, here's the top on it and the bottom. While we were there, we've been on the lookout for some nice formal glassware because we don't have any of that. We have a lot of pots and pans and a lot of like flatware and stuff and cooking stuff, but we don't have any nice glassware. So we picked up 2 champagne flutes. I don't remember how much they were, but I just thought they were really cool. The vendor also had a bunch of other glasses kind of in the same style that had this really beautiful black glass. If I remember correctly, the brand name was like Mikasa, something like that. Mikasa was the name of this brand. So we picked up 2 of these. We picked up a couple of other things that are like presents for people, so I'm not going to show them. Not that any of these people watch my videos. Anyway, we also picked up this silver platter. I'm not 100% sure why we bought this. It's one of those phenomenons where when you go thrifting or when you go antique store shopping, at least I do, sometimes you just kind of buy things and you don't quite know why, but they're so nice, and I think we paid like $35 for this. And the tarnish on it makes me think that it's real silver, or at least real silver plated. So I have this lovely little serving tray now. Oh my god, I sneezed and it made the silver ring. Also from Webb's Antique Market, there was one little stall that had fabric. So I unfortunately don't have the measurements because for most antique stores, they're kind of set up by, they have different vendors in one location. So the tags identify which vendor gets their portion of the sale. So they take the tags when you check out. And in my case, the fabric yardage was written on the tags, which I can figure out pretty easily with my yardstick over there, but I don't remember. But this is the fabric I got. So I think I have, if I remember correctly, it's around 2.5 or 2 3/8 yards of this, which is really nice. And then I also have, I think, 1.5 of this really beautiful one. This one had a note on it saying that there was a hole at about the 1 yard mark. I have not found that hole yet. My plan is to make a peasant blouse out of this one. I have not decided what I'm going to do with this one yet. That is up for interpretation. And I did a burn test on both of these, and I'm pretty sure that they are a cotton rayon blend, because the warp and the weft are 2 different fibers, but they blend, or they burned like cotton and then like rayon. So I'm pretty sure they're a cotton rayon blend. So the next store I went to isn't actually an antique store, but I do want to give it a quick little shout out because it is a small business. It is called Malone's Fabrics. It is in Macon, Georgia. And I went there because I heard that their prices are really, really good. And I'm looking for kind of like a black suiting material for the next video you're going to see that I'm already working on. So as soon as I'm finished filming this, all of this is going in the wash. So I have this really nice black I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's the weight I was looking for, and it looks like it'll drape the way I want it to. So I got 2 yards of this, which I think was like $4 a yard. Then I also got this 100% cotton, really cute little parrot fabric, because if you haven't figured it out yet, I really like Hawaiian shirts, which you will have noticed if you've seen any of my other videos. I also got 4 yards of this fabric, and it has little fleur-de-lis on it, and I'm from New Orleans, so yeah, I need more fleur-de-lis in my life. Also at Malone's, I picked up these really cute little anchor patches because they were 50 cents and I just thought they were really cute. Also, a quick note about Malone's. So if you've never been to the garment district in New York City and you've never been up there into their shops, you're gonna think Malone's is like an absolute disaster, but he really just has this shop set up like all the shops in New York. Like, there's stuff everywhere. Space is at a premium, and he just has so much stuff in there that you just gotta make room. And it's a little chaotic, admittedly, if you're not used to it. There's stuff just everywhere. If you want to see everything, you just gotta dig and dig and dig and look and see what's there. For most people, if you're not in an area where you have like a dedicated fashion district and you have these areas where there's, 6 fabric shops on a block, you're not used to that kind of environment. So just be aware of that when you go in. It's chaos, but it's organized chaos. All right, the next place I went to was called Ingleside Village Antique Center. That is in Macon, Georgia, and it is next door to Malone Fabrics, which is why I stopped in. I didn't buy too much over here because their stuff was a little bit more curated, so it was a little bit more expensive, so a little bit out of my budget. They have more, they are very furniture heavy. And from what I can tell by Google Maps, there are 2 furniture stores kind of like on the same little strip, or vintage stores, antique stores, kind of on the same little strip. I only went to the one, but the other ones are also named like Village Shop Antiques, Antiques at Ingleside, so I don't know if they're the same company or if they're different. Not sure, but I will be taking my boyfriend along next time I go antiquing, so we'll probably go hit that other place. He loves antiquing, but he works during the day, so he can't come with me. Anyway, so let me show you what I bought from them. So the first thing I bought was this silver polish to go with my new silver tray, so I'm going to use this to clean that, and hopefully it'll take everything out. I saw the same brand at the next antique store that I went to, and they said this cleans everything super well, that they clean all of their stuff with it, so I have high hopes for this. And also, I picked up this little guy. He's just kind of a little, I think, bronze seahorse. He has a little marble slab on him, and I don't know, I saw him, he was like $9, and I thought he was really cute, so I picked him up. I kind of get the feeling this one might be like 1980s vintage, not like old, but still, I really like him. He's really cute. I don't know where I'm going to put him though, but he's really cute. I'm glad I have him. So the second place I visited yesterday was called Pain Mill Antiques. That is also in Macon, Georgia. It's kind of on like the other side of Macon from the other place I was, Ingleside. This place was also enormous. It was huge. There's also a brand new vendor that was getting set up, and they have this huge section of the warehouse that just has so much stuff in it. So I'm definitely going to go back once they get all of their stuff set up. So this store has kind of a couple different parts to it. So from what I can tell, it's an old mill building. And then they have the storefront, which is this huge building in itself. And then you go through the back and there's like an annex kind of warehouse area. So it's a second one. You go down the stairs and you go in this area. And then on one side, they have a door literally just hewn out of the cement. And it goes super far back that way, and then it goes far back that way. There's just so much stuff there. So again, that's another one I'm going to have to go back to because I don't think I caught all of it. A note about this particular establishment though, if you use Google Maps, Google Maps tries to take you across the street to, I guess, their old location or an old antique shop. So you're gonna have to like cross the street again. The only reason I found it was because I made a wrong turn trying to go back home. So if you're coming out of that little strip mall that it takes you to, you turn right, and then there's another street you have to turn left down, and then there's a sign that says Pain Mill Antiques this way. So I just kind of followed the sign. And I think what Google's trying to do is take you around to a parking lot that's closest to the front of the building, but they're using the back of the building as the main entrance. I think that's what's going on. So just be prepared to drive around a little bit until you find the entrance, and then once you're there, just like drop a pin or something. But anyway, I got some fun stuff over there too. So let me show you what I got. The main thing that I got was I got a set of these 4 martini glasses, and just the stem was beautiful. And again, I haven't cleaned these yet, so they're a little dirty, but they're gonna shine even better when I finally clean them. So just the stem right here is what drew me in. And I think I paid like $20 for a set of 4 cut glass. And these are beautiful, so I'm really happy I got those. I also picked up this fun little bag full of buttons and zippers because, again, you can never have too many vintage buttons and zippers. I may eat those words later because there are a lot in here, but again, I like to use vintage buttons in my sewing, so I think this is a worthwhile investment. And I paid like $25 for this, which honestly, for the just sheer amount of stuff in here, is definitely worth it. And the last thing I picked up are these really beautiful little earrings. So they are just little, let me hold them so you can see them. They're little costume jewelry. They are clip-ons, and they just have this really beautiful, like, magenta-y, pinky, almost red kind of stone in the middle, and these faux pearl drops. I own like 4 different variations of rhinestone with pearl drop earrings, but to have some just like this color, they were $8, and I just thought they were so beautiful, and so I bought them, and they make me happy. So the last place I went yesterday was called Big Peach Antiques. It is in Byron, Georgia. And I have a really funny story about one of the things that I bought there, which if you follow me on Instagram over at Thread and Needlefish, you will already know about it, but I'm going to save that one for last. So this place is, again, absolutely enormous. It is a labyrinth inside because you have, the building itself is kind of a weird shape. It's almost shaped like the state of Utah. So you go around the sides of the building, and then there's a bunch of rows in a grid in the middle. So again, I'm not entirely sure that I hit all of the stores because it's so easy to just get lost in there. It was enormous. All right, so while I was there, I picked up more buttons. I don't remember how much I paid for all of these. I think it was like $2 for this one and $3 for this one. So again, vintage buttons. I'm gonna have to go through all of these at some point and organize them and figure out what I have. So if you are interested in that, let me know and I will gladly film that process for you. I also picked up some jewelry. I love buying jewelry from antique shops because, like, most of it's costume jewelry, but every now and then you get something that might not be, but you'll figure it out later. Anyway, so this was the first little thing I picked up. This string is just from the tag. So this is a brooch, and it has this really pretty deep green jewel in the middle, little cabochon in the middle, and these dangly faux pearls, and this little, I don't know, rhinestone thing in the middle. Anyway, it was really pretty, and I thought this would look really nice on my cape that I've made. It's a dark green kind of plaid cape, so I thought this would look absolutely beautiful on that, which is why I picked this up, and I think I paid $12 for this. $12 sounds about right. So the other piece of jewelry I picked up are these faux pearls. So I love fake pearls, and I don't have any this size. All of my pearls that are kind of this length are they're much smaller than this, and I also didn't have any in this more like yellowy kind of color. Most of mine are pink toned, so this was something that I didn't have, and I liked how big these were, and these are a little bit more costume jewelry-esque. And also, I have no idea if the camera's going to focus on it, but the clasp has an engraved C on it, and my boyfriend's name is Coleman, so I just thought that was a really cute little thing that reminds me of him. So I got myself these little pearls, and I think these were $8. There was this one, and then there was another strand that was longer but had smaller pearls for I think $6. So I picked up these as well. But one of the very last booths that I stopped at, I was walking along, and then I turned behind me just to kind of glance at what was going, and I saw this big box of patterns on the floor, and I said, oh, perfect, this is what I go to antique shops for. I love finding vintage patterns. So I was rifling through them, and there was one on the top that I picked up. This is a McCall's printed pattern. I have not looked through these to make sure all the pieces are there. I also have not looked through them to try to find any sort of date on them, but I can also tell, mainly from the font on the back, that this is likely going to be a 1940s pattern. Maybe late 30s? No, the skirt's shorter, which makes me think mid-40s and wartime. Anyway, moving on. So this is a size 16, which is a little bit small for me, but this is able to be graded up. I feel confident in my ability to grade this up from 16 to an 18, which is closer to my size. But the real star of the show was, this was a little bit meta. So a couple weeks ago, I made myself this shirt. It is the Simplicity 8445. This is a reprint of a vintage pattern. You might see where I'm going with this. And I also happen to be wearing the shirt that I made in that video, which was View C, which is this short sleeve shirt, and I had that beautiful like Cherokee Rose print on it. So I happen to be wearing that shirt, and I'm looking down in this pile of patterns, and what do I see but the original print of the shirt that I was currently wearing. So this was a little bit existential. This was a very, very strange coincidence. I'm not entirely sure what to think of this, but let me tell you, I freaked out a little bit when I saw this, and then I realized this is the shirt I was currently wearing. So of course, I had to pick up this pattern. These were $3 each. Again, I haven't looked through to see what's here, but I thought it might be fun for me to take a look at this pattern and compare it to this one, particularly instructions. Because this one came with modern instructions and this one has, hopefully, the original. I haven't looked through it yet, but it's one of those moments where I know somebody is trying to tell me something cosmically. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to tell me, but they have my attention now. Alright, so last night I went ahead and washed all of the dishes, so I wanted to give you a nice sunlit video. I'm sorry, the cat's being cute right now. Hold on. As soon as I turn the camera on you, you stop. Oh, big stretch. Anyway, so I wanted to give you a little quick view of what everything looks like nice and cleaned. So here are those martini glasses. As you can see, absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy with these. And I just used a little bit of Dawn dish soap and a soft cloth to clean these off. Here are those black stemmed champagne flutes. These were pretty clean when I bought them, but they did benefit from a quick little bath. Here is that butter dish. So here's what that looks like. They have a little bit of the Star of David motif on it, which I don't think we realized when we bought them. Not that we have anything wrong with that. We're just a Catholic family, not a Jewish family. But what is Catholicism other than just, you know, an extension of Judaism? All right, so here is that, and it's absolutely beautiful. But I think the real star of this segment is the silver tray. It is stunningly beautiful now. Like, it's a mirror now. It's absolutely beautiful. I didn't show you the back of it, but the back was really bad, and now it is nice and clean. And it is just absolutely stunning. It has this really pretty little shell motif. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that with all the reflection of the sunlight and everything going on in it, but it is stunningly beautiful. So I can say, yes, 10 out of 10, would recommend. This is awesome. If you can get your hands on this, do it. So anyway, that was my most recent haul of antique store shopping. Yeah, it was a lot. And I have plans to go again very soon with my boyfriend that he can hopefully join me on a weekend coming up. Anyway, I really enjoy going to antique shops. I really love knowing that objects kind of have their own history behind them, that these objects potentially lived an entire lifetime with somebody. Because when you go to these antique shops, for a lot of the vendors, you can tell that some of them were really just estates, because there's a very wide variety of things that someone would have used throughout their entire life. So, you know, a lot of these stalls and a lot of these vendors are really just trying to sell people's estates, the things that they passed away with, that their family either didn't want, didn't have room for, or maybe they couldn't find their family. So I like knowing that I can give a second life to these objects. I also feel that it's very important to reuse as much as we can, especially in today's society where we just have this super hyper consumerism aspect of life going on, and it's always buy the new thing, and things today are intentionally cheaply made to make you buy newer and newer and newer, because the things that you buy just aren't made to last. And that was not the case for, honestly, the overwhelming majority of human history. Most things in human history were built to last. These were, people would buy in commissioned furniture pieces that are meant to be passed on from generation to generation to generation. And that's something that is lacking in a lot of modern amenities and modern consumers. I don't know. I'm very much an old soul, and I just really love old things. I like knowing that they all have a history. I like knowing that a real person used these items. I like knowing that real people valued them and took care of them enough to have them be able to survive into present day. So I just think that's really cool. I also really love especially mid-century American design. I don't think that's really a secret by all of the vintage patterns that I sew through. And also, I mean, think about it. If you went to like a store today and bought this many buttons and this many zippers just all over, you'd be paying way more than $25. So it's just economical to like buy your stuff. Also, in this time of uncertainty, we are currently in October 2020. If you are living through this, you understand. If you are watching this from the future, I'm sure there's a chapter in your textbook for every week of 2020. But in these trying times, I find it's really important to support small business, to support your local business. The money that you spend going into these smaller business goes directly back into your community. And I think it's so important that even though it is a little bit more difficult, and it sometimes is a little bit more expensive to shop locally, since I am blessed enough to be in a position where I can afford to do so, I really feel like I have a responsibility to do so. And I feel like antique stores and thrift stores, antique stores more than thrift stores, because there's a thing going on with thrift stores and kind of, there's a whole thing, we're not going to get into it. But especially with antique stores, and you're being able to save objects from a landfill, you're being able to reuse objects and take things that already exist instead of giving your money into the demand to produce new objects, and to also be able to support your community and your small businesses and your local, just everybody. I think that is super important, and that is a very cool thing that we do have today, and I'm all about it. Part of my 2020 resolution this year was to go to more local events and to become more involved in my local community. That didn't really happen because 2020 decided to happen instead, but I feel like these are little ways that I'm able to... Why are you cutting grass in the middle of my soliloquy? But I do think it's important to be able to take small steps to help out where you can and do a little bit of good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed going shopping. Not so much spending almost all of my money while I have no income. However, if this is something that you really enjoyed, then please go ahead, give me a like, comment, subscribe, all those fun YouTube things. Also, if you're interested in behind the scenes stuff or real-time updates, such as when I was freaking out in the middle of an antique store over this pattern, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram over at Thread and Needlefish. My next video coming up, I have in the works. I have some fabric that needs to now go in the wash so I can work on it. It's exciting. I really like it, and Instagram has already seen a little bit of a little sneak peek of it, and I'm really excited to make this happen. So if you're interested in sewing content, particularly vintage inspired sewing or marine animal inspired sewing, then go ahead, give me a follow, give me a subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!